There really is not much that beats winning a derby, right? Wrong. Let us name you a few. Winning the derby, crushing your neighbour's dreams of getting European football, listening to them complain and cry about the refereeing, scoring the winning goal in the 100th minute, and doing all of that in the very first derby ever played at their new stadium. Now that is the kind of loss Everton fans will remember forever, because history will have it written down for good. Now, it was not a pretty win by any means. Some people say our performance was as bad as it could get, and that is fair. Others think the whole game was hard to watch, which is also fair. It was messy, tense, and at times just frustrating to sit through. But are we really going to let that stop us from pulling out some interesting talking points from a derby win like this? Of course not. So go ahead, hit those like and subscribe buttons, and let us jump straight into it. From the very first minute, our intentions were clear. We did not come into this derby trying to play nice football. We came in to win, no matter how ugly it had to be. You could see it straight away. In the opening 2 minutes alone, Van Dijk, our goalkeeper, and then Konate all went long from deep areas. The plan was simple and direct. Find Isak, let him act as the target, bring the ball down, or look for one of the runners making moves in behind. It was not about control or patience, it was about getting the ball forward early and putting them under pressure right away. Now unfortunately, this was not that effective, and it came down to a few simple reasons. First, Everton did not try to press as high or with real intensity. They were happy to sit in a 4-4-2 mid-block, which meant there was not much space in behind for us to attack, even if we went long. Everything was right in front of them, and that made our direct approach easier to deal with. Second, they had absolute towers at the back in Branthwaite and Tarkowski. Those two just dealt with most of what came their way. Even a player like Isak, who is usually very strong in the air, could not really dominate his duels the way he normally does. So a lot of those long balls ended up coming straight back at us, and we struggled to build anything from there. Now, in our current situation, going into a derby away from home, where every single point is worth its weight in gold, this approach did make sense. There was not much risk on the ball, and the idea was to get the most out of our players' strengths, but at the same time it gave Everton a bit too much control. They had more of the ball, they looked more comfortable, and they were the more dangerous side for the large parts of the first half. They kept pushing, kept getting into decent areas, and they even scored at one point, which was luckily ruled out. And then, just a few seconds later, they did not know what hit them as we went up the other end, and got our first goal. So maybe, in a strange way, the plan of going long and letting Everton have the ball did work in the end, and you can see that in how we opened the scoring. The Toffees had a spell where they kept the ball, and started to believe a bit too much. They tried to play out from the back, like they were some top side, even though that is not really their game, and at the same time they seem to forget who they were up against. This is still Liverpool Football Club. No matter how poor we might look at times, we can still press you, close you down quickly, and force that one mistake that changes everything. That is exactly how the whole sequence played out. Everton were trying to move the ball around, playing little triangles and looking comfortable on the surface, but the pressure was already building. Robertson stepped up to close the space and Van Dijk was right behind him, ready to cover. Because of that, we managed to trap Everton on that left side and really box them in with no easy way out. Once we won it back, everything opened up in a second. Gakpo suddenly had space in front of him and started driving straight at their back line. You could feel something was about to happen. On the other side, Salah read it perfectly and made a sharp run forward, timing it just right. Cody, who looked much better in this game compared to most of his season so far, spotted that run and played a great pass into his path. From there, it was only going one way, as the Egyptian king did what he always does and put us ahead. Now the timing of our goal could not have been better. It came right when Everton were on top of us, pushing us back and starting to build real pressure. By scoring at that moment, we kind of flipped the momentum. We settled down a bit more, kept the ball better, and stopped them from fully controlling the game like they were before. Now, whether that was actually the plan or not, the game slowly turned into a bit of a boring one. There was not a lot of risk being taken, not much happening in the final third. The only two players who really looked willing to try something and play with purpose were Jones and Wirtz, even though some people might say the German had a poor game. We are not saying he was amazing or anywhere near man of the match, but if even one of the two chances he was involved in ended up as a goal, the whole game probably becomes much easier for us. Here you can see him disguise his pass really well to slip Gakpo through, and it is a brilliant ball when you watch it again. It is the kind of pass that is easy to miss at first, but it completely opens things up. Then, in the second half, you can see him lose his marker with some really smart movement. He finds a bit of space, links up nicely with Salah, and they manage to create another chance for Cody, this time with a header. It might not have led to a goal, but those are the kind of moments that show what he can bring when things come off. As we said, we kept things simple and slow, and maybe that was not the best choice. In the second half, Everton still found a way back into it and hurt us with a long ball over the top. The goal we conceded was really avoidable. Both Konate and Van Dijk, who were actually very solid for most of the game, just switched off for a moment during that sequence, and that was enough for Everton to punish us. From that point on, the game felt like it was going nowhere. We looked tired, short of ideas, and a bit stuck, which is something we have seen a few times under Slot recently. It did not feel like a winner was coming. And then came the 100th minute. We win a corner, everyone goes up, and Van Dijk rises above the rest. Just like that, the ball hits the net, and the blue tears start to pour as we walk away, with all 3 points from Everton's new ground. Now, to put things in perspective, Van Dijk's late winner is more than a derby win. After all, we really couldn't care how we beat Everton, because come on, the rivalry is dead from our side. It's a title for them to beat us, nothing new for us. However, that goal could end up being one of the most important goals of our whole season for a different reason. Especially after Chelsea dropped points, this was our chance to widen the gap. And we did exactly that. Instead of letting the pressure get to us, we found a way, even if it was not pretty. Those are the kind of moments that define a season, and this one might be looked back on as the turning point if we get the job done. This result keeps our Champions League hopes very much alive. Every point matters right now, and picking up 3 in a derby like this, away from home, makes it even bigger. It gives us momentum, but more importantly, it keeps us right in the race when others are slipping. Now it all comes down to what we do next. The games against Palace and United are massive, there is no other way to put it. Win those and we put ourselves in a really strong position. Slip up and this might be one of the worst seasons in our recent history. So the job is not finished yet, not even close, but this was a huge step in the right direction to salvage something from this campaign. That's it from us now, guys. Now we would love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this game? Do performances really matter at this point, or are the 3 points the sole aim? Let us know your thoughts in the comments and we'll see you next time.